I would invite all the panelists, to join me here. Thank you. So a couple of words about myself. So I'm Luca Bolisa, I work at CAUS in area strategy and forward-looking management. I spent a few years in the Middle East as diplomat, attaché for research and innovation, and worked many years. Well, Martin, get closer.
Yeah. My picture is just above.
Okay, right. It's fine. And worked many years for the European Commission in the DG Research and Innovation, managing large programs in the scale of 100 billions to support research in Europe and across the world. But now let's introduce our panelists. So we have Martin Gastol. So Martin is a senior staff member at CERN, the Center for Research in the European Center for Nuclear Research. Martin is also advisor, for partnerships and the MENA region, and also lead of the Open Quantum Institute. Welcome, Martin. So we have then Mohammad Sayari, hello, chairman of the board of directors of the Saudi Quantum Computing Association, and also head of quantum computing at Aramco. Welcome, Mohammad. And we have Richard, but you already heard about Richard before, but CEO of Orca, and Orca is a spin-off of Oxford University, so interesting roots of the company, and has headquarters in UK, in London, but also in Canada, Toronto, and Austin in the USA. Right, so we heard a lot this morning about quantum. So we heard about the importance of the ecosystem. We heard about the massive investment across the world, 40 billion. We heard about the importance to support the human potential in order to develop this amazing technology. And we heard about a little bit what quantum is and what are the amazing opportunities behind this technology. So it's a huge transformation, it's a huge challenge. It's not about speed only, but it's really about cracking problems in a way that we never thought before. So it's really a revolution. It's like giving computers superpowers that will solve problems in seconds instead of years, millions of years, or billions that we heard this morning. So really fascinating. So we have less than half an hour. Let's dig into our discussion. So Martin, I will start with you. So how can Saudi Arabia leverage public-private partnerships and international collaborations to drive quantum computing innovation while also aligning R&D priorities and policy framework to ensure that quantum technologies address national needs, aspirations in industry, and target all the different projects the Kingdom is looking at? Please.
Okay, thank you very much first for having me and for RDIA to have organized this event. CERN has been around for the last 70 years as a, it works? Yeah? Okay. As an open science non-profit laboratory. So probably won't come as a surprise that I would say one of the recipes we think is needed is to invest in basic sciences. When we at CERN invented the World Wide Web, we didn't do it because we were looking for an introduction of the internet. We did it because we needed it. Fundamental science make you push the boundaries of technology all the time. The fact that we are also open means that you are leveraging the entire curiosity and culture, but also the acumen for science that is collective. So at CERN, we got into quantum a few years ago, and we launched last year in March an institute which is dedicated to developing the skills of our partners in quantum computing algorithm. This is called the Open Quantum Institute. This was something that was highlighted in Paris last week at the inauguration of the Year of Quantum. The way it works is that we are essentially putting together teams from very different corners of the community to develop algorithms, push the technology beyond the state of the art, while benefiting humanity, which is a stronger aspect of the program. So in Saudi Arabia, you've got the academia, and at CERN we're already working with two Saudi institutions, KAUST, so Luca is a member of, and EFET, and we're also in discussions with KU. So you have this faculty, this academic community. You have also a strong industrial community, which we heard from two speakers ago. And what we add to that mix at CERN is also a diplomatic aspect, because we feel that in order to make things move forward, you also need the lawmakers to be part of the equation. At the Open Quantum Institute, each team that is designing algorithm are teamed up with an industrial partner. So typically they are academics. So the academics do the coding. The industry leaders are providing the simulators, the quantum computing simulators, and later the quantum computers, but also international organizations. That's very important, because in the end we are trying to push the technology by focusing on applications of quantum computing. Richard, a few moments ago, was mentioning many of such applications: drug discovery, new molecules. As quantum scientists, you don't necessarily appreciate the stakes of such research. But if you go to the discipline experts, they can help you to make your application even more targeted. And in that same team, we will introduce diplomats. That's not maybe intuitive, but in the end, if you want to make an ecosystem grow, you need this, we believe, you need these three different parameters, so that the legal framework in which your ecosystem is developing is also understood and supported by the lawmakers. I have very little time, so maybe I'll stop here, but if you have a minute, I recommend you look up the Open Quantum Institute on the web. It is a brand new initiative, and when we do what's special is that we focus on applications related to sustainable development goals: water, air, education, poverty. It is the best way we found to make everybody collaborate on the same topic, because it's very hard to be against eradicating poverty. It's very hard to be against providing healthcare for all. So these were topics that are depoliticized and on which all the goodwill and benevolence of our stakeholders could be assembled.
Thank you very much, Martin. So 3 main ingredients: the importance to support fundamental science, the importance to work with multidisciplinary teams, and the importance to bring together the private and the public sector. Thank you very much. So we move to Mohammed. So how can Saudi Arabia existing investment in research, education and infrastructure, particularly like through the Vision 2030 and the implementing programs, can leverage and accelerate quantum computing, but also communication and sensing in the country? Please.
Thanks, Luca. Good morning, everyone. I would like to thank RDIA for the invitation. I'm very delighted to be with you today for this amazing event. The Vision 2030, as you of course know, it aims to diversify economy and introduces new revenue streams, and the technology is in heart of that one, and the quantum computing would greatly benefit from that one. And we could leverage, of course, the current investment on the research, education and infrastructure to excel the quantum. For example, when it comes to research, we believe we do in the kingdom, we have many amazing research institutions and universities such as KAUST, KAXT and KFUPM, and we could leverage those ones and extend and create dedicated quantum centers, hubs. Those one would focus on excelling the development of the quantum in the field of quantum hardware, algorithms, applications and cybersecurity and others. And of course, these need to be funded, so the fund is a very important topic to it. This would encourage to fund these R&D projects. this would encourage researchers and startups to jump into the field and start working on these ones. Another important thing under the research is really we need to expand the current collaboration, not just with the domestic research centers, but also international research institutions and leading quantum companies. For example, at Saudi Aramco, we have built a partnership with IBM on the Quantum Innovation Hub, and also we had an agreement. We have invested in Pascal, a French startup, and this year we will have the quantum computer here in the kingdom, and we will avail the cloud access to be the first in kingdom, the first local cloud access to the kingdom. So this is under the research. Under education, also, I believe it's very important to introduce the quantum to the university's curriculum and to the training centers. Very important. And since we have shortages when it comes to talents, we need to have sponsorship programs to help and to encourage students and researchers to enter these ones. Right now, we have some universities like KFUPM. They have multiple quantum program, undergraduate and one master program for the quantum. And also when it comes to professional training, we have Tuwaiq Academy. They provide quantum programs, and we have National IT Academy, which is NITA. They also have professional training for the industry. So these are very good, but we need a lot of those programs. And lastly, the infrastructure. We believe in the kingdom we have the multiple state-of-the-art labs, and also when it comes to the HPC, really we have, I would say, some of the strongest, the most powerful supercomputers. For example, in KAUST we have Shaheen, and in Taramco we do have Dammam 7. So those ones, we could leverage those infrastructure and have the quantum part of it. And also we believe the future for the quantum will not be isolated. It will be integrated with the classical environment and with HPC also. So we can work it out right now, and these HPC can help to simulate also the quantum behavior, and we can utilize it until we get fault-tolerant quantum computer. So in a nutshell, these are the quick points to answer your question.
Thank you very much, Mohammad. So 3 key words we heard. Infrastructures. So we need to continue to invest in infrastructures, but the kingdom has already very well advanced in infrastructures that we need to capitalize on. Second key word, integration. So we need to make sure we work collaboratively across the kingdom. And the third key word is, again, partnerships. So working with companies, small and medium enterprises, and internationally across the world. So let's move to you, Richard. So you touched a little bit about this before on your presentation, but what are really the key challenges and opportunities in developing a robust ecosystem in Saudi Arabia, and how really the country can position itself in the leapfrogging that was mentioned earlier from a previous speaker?
Yeah, thank you. I love the phrase leapfrogging, because I think that there's a huge possibility to move ahead very quickly with the right strategic, very sort of precise approach to sort of strategy and implementation. I think actually similar to the other panel members, my answer is probably mostly led by the human capital side. So let's be honest, what we're talking about here is a very emerging, very cutting-edge technology that is being driven by the brightest minds that there are. And in particular, I'd say on the sort of skills side, students, PhDs, or maybe even company researchers who are aware of and able to actually create and develop from scratch new applications. So working with quantum hardware that exists today for applications which can be realized in as quick a time as possible, I think is a really exciting area of research currently moving forward. And that is only driven by some really key students, people. So I think the first answer is just it's all about sort of talent pipeline, developing a local talent pool, of course continuing to work with the region's universities, attracting talent, but really talent is key. I think in addition to that, it was mentioned earlier about the applications themselves. I think all quantum computing companies are really looking for engagement with large and innovative companies like Saudi Aramco, who have a whole suite of challenges. They know what they need to do, and they know in certain areas how it's hard to do certain things. If those companies can provide to quantum computing companies their challenges, in a very detailed way, we're having trouble searching through all this data, or we're having trouble with this new molecule or new material that we're trying to synthesize. That can be a pipe cleaner for the quantum industry to really know what we need to do. There's nothing beats anything like having a really concrete idea of a problem and a solution to that problem. And I think finally just the infrastructure piece is important. So we're all looking at quantum computers. I think the really leading institutes, again, like Saudi Aramco, are really positioning themselves to have access to real quantum computers alongside real HPC, because I think there's a real truth in implementing systems today, learning what they can do and, to be honest, what they can't do. And I think a lot of that does come from, I think it was mentioned earlier, sandboxing, real access to real systems, with those leading researchers applied to them. So I think those would be some of my answers.
Thank you very much, Richard. So it's absolutely crucial to develop the right human potential in the country, but also attract talents from abroad. And surely this is a call that KAUST, as one of the universities in the kingdom, can contribute to these efforts together with others, KFUPM in particular. So before rounding up with another final questions to all of you, maybe there's time for a couple of questions from the public. Who would like to be the icebreaker? Please. A mic is getting to you.
Thank you very much, distinguished panelists, and for a very enriching and enlightening views. My name is Walid Al-Somali. I'm currently advisor at the Ministry of Investment. And it's good to see my good friend Mohammed Al-Sayari. I used to work for Aramco for 41 years before I retired last year and joined 41 years and joined the Ministry for assignments and consultation on innovation, human talent development. The question for the distinguished panelist is, during Aramco's time, I used to be in charge of university Aramco partnerships globally and domestically. And one of the things that we made a success in Aramco actually during the time and until this minute is that we have a very strategic structure and a governance in managing our university and research engagement around the globe. The question for the panelists, what needs to be put in place here at the national level to establish a well-governed, they call it in the UK, triple helix, academia, industry, and government, to make a real impact when it comes to high-performance computing. I see a lot of initiatives at the national level, Aramco and many major players, yet how we establish some sort of a very sustainable, impactful partnership that make results and impact. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much. Maybe Mohammed would like to start to say this.
Thank you. Yes, I'm glad to see you, Walid. Yes, when it comes really to this one, the national level quantum strategy is a must to have these ones. And we have started that. In fact, C4IR, the Center for Fourth Industrial Revolution, have recently published a report for the quantum economy landscape, and that one has lots of these governance, I would say, procedures. It's really very important that all these, I would say, entities to work together to build robust framework for these ones. And when it comes to, I would talk about the quantum, really. The governance is very important when it comes to cybersecurity, for example. Very important to have some procedures for these ones. And also the usage of the quantum itself. The cloud is another problem that we use. Can we use it outside? How to avail it within the kingdom? Is it allowed to send data? All these things need to be addressed. And also, when it comes to ethical usage of the quantum, the governance is very important. So that one is under the process right now, and along with RDIA, RDIA is leading this effort also to have this national level quantum strategy. And for sure, this particular point is one of the 4 pillars that need to be addressed. Thanks.
Thank you very much, Mohad. Maybe, Richard, you want to chip in? Yeah. Impact.
Yes, I think it's a great question, and I suppose I'm lucky that I've seen the evolution of many national programs in their different forms, starting with the UK and then Europe and then US. I mean, I think I would start with, I think, which is probably one of the remits of the RDIA, one of the most foundational qualities is about coordination. And I think it is the case that, of course, in any country you have different entities with different remits. Quantum sort of needs to span across those different remits. So to be very clear, we talked a bit about skills. I think it's very easy to develop a skills base which isn't well connected with the needs of the industry that you're trying to build. So real coordination between skills bodies, between what you might sort of say sort of more research providers, early stage science and late stage science, through to industry and industry use cases. I think that coordination is critical. I think, I'll be honest, maybe I'm expecting too much. I think no country so far has got that completely right, maybe with the exception of the emerging program here in the kingdom. I think, to be very blunt, I think in the US you saw huge funding agencies, the Department for Energy, Department of Defense, all with slightly different agendas, all with their own individual programs, and that, of course, that's okay, but it's not efficient because those providers aren't maybe talking to each other as well as they could. I think in the UK there's been a better alignment between sort of skills, early stage research feeding into late stage research, but still that can be a lot better. So I think maybe one of my key messages is about, as I think what I'm starting to see, very close coordination between activities. And sorry, I'm using up a lot of the mic time. The final thing I'll say is just industry as well. I think I saw the evolution of the European program be quite academic, and I think quantum really needs the input and maybe sometimes very honest perspective from people really trying to derive value. Like, okay, this is great stuff, but how do I really use it? And so I think industry has a really strong role to play in setting the agenda, really being very concrete on what they need from quantum. But I think, to be clear, you have all the ingredients here, so it's great to see it all coming together.
Yeah, thank you, Richard. So skills continue to be a key message across this panel, but thank you for recalling the importance of bringing in industry as part of this race. Martin, would you like to chip in and share your thoughts?
Yes, so we're a bit from a different angle, being a research lab, international research lab, but one thing that I totally agree on is that in order for an ecosystem to thrive, you need to federate all the goodwill and the skills that are available. I think in the kingdom, RDIA has already signaled that they are prepared to help with that. Later today, we'll be discussing how the various universities of the kingdom could be somehow brought under an umbrella to collaborate more on research with CERN, which includes quantum. I think that's important. It can be a unifying factor that will focus the research effort.
Thank you, Martin. Maybe there's room for another question. Well, the lady there in the back, please introduce yourself.
Yes, thank you, dear panelists. My name is Aliane Dinti. I would like to study theoretical or do my PhD in theoretical physics. And I'm building a commodity volatility tool for the kingdom. My question is for Mr. Maton. Real quantums interact with the environment. How long will it take to prevent information loss while interacting with the environment for quantums?
Okay, that's a tough one. All right, so at CERN we have taken the strategy to study the impact of quantum on sustainable development goals. So I will take your question about environment under that angle. At the Open Quantum Institute, we are onboarding applications of quantum for biodiversity, for the undersea world, for food production. So the idea that we're going to use quantum algorithms, quantum computers to optimize certain processes. We have, for example, a specific use case in Morocco where we are trying to design a quantum material made out of phosphate to be wrapped around seeds to maximize the yield once the seeds are put in underground. With Malaysia, we have a use case on the prediction of flooding. Again, this is a direct response to the changing climate. So we are very much focusing on this impact on the environment to push the research on algorithms.
Right, maybe I was told that time is almost up. So there's room maybe for a very final quick questions, few seconds for all of you. So I read recently that those who will be really cracking the challenge of quantum computing won't tell. There will be lots of secrecy around this. Richard, do you agree on that? Why? Or maybe you disagree on that?
I partly agree, partly disagree. I think, of course, there are going to be applications of quantum that are secret. Cryptography is the big one. Mm-hmm. But I mean, I'm hopeful, I'm a commercial person from a commercial organization, that the applications are not military, they're general purpose application of machine learning, in which case my belief is that it won't be a secret because everyone will be using it.
Good. And Mohammed?
Yes, in terms of application, I believe maybe the computing will take a little bit time, but we have other technologies like the communication and the sensing. I think it has very, I would say, clear use cases, and we expect that will evolve very soon.
Yeah, Martin?
So I'm a bit biased because we are a non-profit open science organization, but I would say we should not underestimate the power of collaborative research. When you share the technology, everybody wins. And it doesn't matter that the end result cannot be protected for a commercial venture. I think sharing the technology is not incompatible with making profit.
Yeah, thank you, Martin. So let's wrap up. So 2 key messages from this panel. Invest in talent, infrastructures to build a quantum ecosystem in Saudi Arabia. So we need to develop expertise, continue to funding fundamental research, establish national quantum centers, and form global partnerships. At the national level, a strategy on quantum would be needed as part of Vision 2030. Second key message, so leverage funding, support industry applications, and bring the industrial sector as part of the picture, mobilize the government and the private sector using instruments like the PIF or the strengths of Aramco, NEOM, KAUST, and other entities. The focus should be on quantum-safe encryptions, but also AI and many, many other applications. So probably the development of specific funds, but the bottom line is that race is on, race is now, and we need to act basically as of today. So thank you very much to the panelists, to the audience, and ask you to run a very good round of applause to thank them.